Um, we didn't talk about this today. He had passed by the time we had the last
Yeah,
show.
bro.
Rest in peace to
Yeah.
Maradona, man. Like, man, if anybody gets a chance, watch that documentary. It really is crazy to even see. Like, this dude was living.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
who would he be comparative to in American sports? You think Maradona would be like for people that like because we have a lot of
Oh
people that listen
man.
that trying to get into it. Like, who would he be?
Okay.
I'm trying to think who he would be. It's kind of hard
It's very difficult.
because
It's
I
not
don't know
one
if a
person.
player in the
It's not
U.S. could
one
get away with
person.
what he got
Nah,
away with.
it's not one person. And so
He's an amalgamation of a
yeah,
couple
it's not
people,
one.
right?
It's what I'm saying. It's not one person. So like, I'm gonna start off with, and this is not. I'm gonna start off with this person only to get into the American mindset. Start off with Dennis Rodman,
I was thinking
and
Dennis Rodman.
that doesn't even at all really describe him because he wasn't a Dennis Rodman type of player at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, but his lifestyle was kind of like that. But
yeah, he got an illegitimate son that he didn't start claiming to like 5 years
man,
before he died. Like, and then I mean, he was blatantly like, "That ain't my kid." Like on some,
hey, Billy
like Michael
Jean,
Jackson, Billie
some Billy
Jean.
A. Hey, bro,
They was like, "No,
that
we
ain't
got
my
the
son.
blood test. It's your kid."
That
No,
ain't
it's
my
not.
son.
No, it's not.
Nah, man,
So is
nah.
he in moving in Maradona? Is Messi always going to live in his shadow for Argentinian players?
I think this is just me personally, man. I think all players will, but I think it just got worse with Messi because he happened to be short and left footed, and
Mm,
that's really what it is. Because other than that, and this is one thing I say also about Maradona real quick, as far as just personally, I'm just lucky to say that I was able to actually watch him play, not just watch highlights. Because that's a big difference. Like
yeah,
watching people play and watching highlights are two different things in any sport.
yeah.
And you know what I mean? And they were two different players. They just had similar statures, but like the roles that they did, and I'm not saying that to say that Maradona was better than Messi. They just did two different things. You know what I mean? Like that's
Could he even exist in this game? Though is a question I was thinking about. Like looking
oh,
at.
absolutely.
Okay, you think he'd even be better now? Like if he was in this?
Absolutely. Because you know one thing I forgot, and I happened to be watching a shout out to YouTube. I was watching an older game because I was checking out matter of fact, just to let people at home know what I was looking at a game from the 1982 World Cup where Argentina played Italy, and Italy won in that World Cup. And the reason I was watching because I wanted to see the matchup between the Italian defender, his name is Claudio Gentili, and Diego Maradona, because he was what they call man marking individually,
Right, but normally
guarding
most people didn't man mark
guarding him.
Maradona though.
Right, and he was able to do that. And so I was like, well, let me just check it out, see what happened. And so I just wanted to look at it. And the game back then was different, man. Like they were able to do a lot more rough stuff
Okay.
that was like not just like grabbing rough, like really messing with people's like legs and stuff like that rough, to where they were able to do a lot more back then that you cannot do now. So
Mm. So is
he would have
Messi
been
gonna live in
okay
his
now.
shadow because he doesn't have a World Cup? And is in Argentinian mind?
I think so, and that's kind of going into what we were saying about how it could be different as far as like how that South American players can get treated like
Yeah.
stars so much for their proteins. Because look at James Rodriguez, right? So James Rodriguez will always be almost deified as far as like when it comes to playing for Colombia, whereas for his club teams it might be kind of like hit or miss depending on
Yeah.
what the system is. You know what I mean? Which that's with any player, but that's just the way it's built in the psyche down, you know what I mean? Like it's a big thing, and it's like I guess a big part of like what's in their mindsets, like when they're watching it too, it's like one of us made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that mindset, and that of course permeates a lot of things other than sports. And is you see one of you that made it, and so that's gonna. And Maradona is the perfect symbol of that. You know what I mean? Like
Is it
we
is it
made it.
is it
We
is
made it.
Messi to think of like he's had the kid? I mean, I guess the Maradona carried teams too, but I feel like especially with the Argentinian teams we've seen the last few World Cups. I feel like he's carried them like where it's like he got five
Yeah.
men on him. He's out there trying to dribble on the back end, trying to make something happen, and it is like we just gonna stop
Yeah.
Messi. Like if we stop him, Argentina shut down. We can get one. We can nick in one goal and we can roll out.
Yeah, I think that 2014, I feel like that was a good example of that because I feel like that was where he played the best.
And that's when they lost to Germany,
Uh,
right?
yeah, yeah. I think that was probably like he played the best and that team was built the best. Because one thing that I'll say with that team too, and I said that at the time, not just in hindsight, because I like Messi. I'm not a Messi hater, but I was a big fan of Javier Mascherano on that team. Like he was a defensive midfielder on that team, and a lot of that stuff was built around him. And I felt like that was a good thing, and I thought that's what a lot of that success came from. And in the previous World Cups, it wasn't like that, and I think that's where it was like just comparing, because it'll always be where you'll see the Barcelona success for Messi
Mm-hmm.
compared to the lack of success for Argentina
Mm-hmm.
comparatively. And a big thing with that is the team behind him. And when you look at the Barcelona team, man, like that team had behind him, like the core of that team in the middle was maybe the best trio of midfielders ever as
Yeah.
far as Busquets, Javi, and Iniesta. So you
Yes.
got that. And so like that's why when he goes to Argentina, he doesn't have that. So it's going to be a different setup. And so it's not really fair
Is it are the
to
South
hold that
American
against
teams at
him.
a disadvantage more now because of the
I
we
think
talked about this
so.
before, but with the
I think so.
expat setup, a lot of them going into Europe and like snatching them up from Brazil at 5 years old, saying, "Well, we'll make you a Portuguese citizen and take care of your family because you can we saw you in the favelas doing your thing.
Right,
Now
right,
you ain't
right,
playing for Colombia no more. You
right,
playing
right,
for
right, right,
Spain,
right.
or you playing for I mean whoever over there."
I think that does put him at a disadvantage. I think it like for the soccer identity wise, because you know what I'm saying? Like so like as a kid, you're always gonna look at the people that succeeded before you. So if what you're seeing from the people that you want to emulate is okay, we need to get out of here. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, you get it.
so after to a degree, you start looking at just those other countries in general. It's like
Is
okay,
that's
well,
what the US is doing with Mexico, it seems like right now, too, on the low. I wouldn't be surprised 5 to 10 years from now, Mexico kind of having a teeter off a little bit in CONCACAF because of US. Like you half their team is all
that's a
like
big fight.
expat.
That's a big fight, though. That's funny you say that too because that's like a huge. That's one of the. That's like almost like symbolizes the fight over the entire world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like because there's so many Mexicans born in America, so they have dual citizenship. You know what I mean? So it's like I can play for both,
Mm-hmm.
and
How
both of
many
y'all
players do
want
that?
me.
How many players would do that? Do that where they'll play for Mexico and they were born here? Like, what's the percentage you think on that team that?
And this is the big thing because like it's talking about like recently.
Yeah.
To answer your question real quick, I'll say it's probably man, dude, it might be in favor. I think it's in favor of Mexico, and I think it's probably 60-40. Because
Really? So
it's really tough.
60% of them
Because you
are
got to
born in
think
the
that's a really
US but
tough
play for
decision.
Mexico?
Oh, not on the current team. I'm saying people in that situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
talking
if you say
about. That's
like,
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
right, 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 yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
think out of 10 people that are in that situation, I think 6 of them going for Team Mexico,
But
man.
it's getting more even though now.
I don't think so. I think it's going more for. I think that's what I'm saying. I think it's going more for Mexico now. Like
Oh, really?
whereas,
I was thinking because I've seen a lot of Mexican players on the team now, just as much as like Africans and like things like that. Like I saw, I was like, man, I was looking at some of the names and I was
it's
like Garcia, like
because it's because it man I can't I don't know the people's names, but it was like 4 players like here recently where that was like a real big thing for because they were young. Talking
mm-hmm.
about like between 17 and 19, whatever. And 3 of those 4 ended up going
The Mexican national team.
with
Wow.
Mexico, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, but in a big thing of it, like, cause they had like different interviews after, as far as like talking about their decisions and like looking at some of the similarities in their comments. Man, a big thing with it was because I mentioned this I think on the previous show we were
Yeah.
talking about this. They were talking about the overall culture of what the team is, and that's when I'm like, you got to think about what the culture of soccer is in the U.S. because that's what they're saying. It's like they're like, man, hey man, I don't want to be part of this, you know what I'm saying, this suburban soccer culture. I don't want that, you know, because it's kind of it's not to the level to where it's an elitist sport.
It's damn near it's getting close though.
But it's
to some like
there.
some tennis and golf situation.
And that's where I think they're like, man, I'm not with that. You know what I mean? And I want a more, you know what I'm saying, organic and, you know what I'm saying, like earthy people for real, like crying if we lose.
Isn't Europe on that though? Like they snatching up, putting you in a camp, a club camp, you know, academy at like 6 or 7. So isn't it kind of what the U.S. is doing, trying to be similar to that European system? Or you think it doesn't work over here because you don't have the group of people